A group of satanic pedophiles are the ones who rule the world. It's not China, it's not Russia, it's not the United States, it's not the United States dollar, it's not capitalism. Everything indicates to us with irrefutable evidence that it's the satanic pedophiles who are in control of the world. They can choose any child they want whenever they want without anyone stopping them, and there's nothing you or I can do. After reading hundreds of documents from Epstein's files, I come to the conclusion that this world is ruled by Satanists. I don't believe in any fictional character, I don't have any religion, I don't believe in any deity, but I come to the conclusion that the people who do believe in Satan, that God of baby sacrifice, that God who tells them, give me children's blood, they believe in him. And they are the ones who rule the world. They have an insatiable hunger to literally eat babies, literally, and they are the ones in charge. And to have any hope of fixing it, we have to burn the whole system as we know it to the ground, down to ashes, and start over to stop the Satanist pedophiles for a while. And would they rebuild themselves again? We'll see. I'll confess to you, in the last few days I've spent all my free time reading Epstein's files, and it's disturbed me in a way that's changed me. Who I am for life, I can't go back to being the same person I was before after reading what I've read. And I have to share it with you so you can decide if you also want to keep being the same person or if you want to accept that reality. Which I have accepted, which is the most horrible thing I have ever read in my life after we leave. The millions of Epstein's files came to light and were made public with videos, photographs, and documents explaining what they did to these children. I simply can't continue my course of actions the way I used to. I can't continue my life the way I lived it before. It's impossible. No person with empathy, whether for others, for yourself, or for your own children, can continue being the same person they were. Look, I'll sum it up for you in the simplest way. The millionaires of the world, most of them, many of them are pedophiles. And they can choose any child they want, whichever one. They just order it like it's a menu. And some insider brings them the child, and at home they do whatever they want with them. Rapes, satanic rituals, and this is in documents. It's not my imagination, it's not a guess, it's not a conspiracy. The rituals are described in documents. And not only do they have total impunity, they have help from governments, institutions, immigration authorities, and investigative authorities. They're practically at the top. This world is divided in two, and that's something that terrified me to learn. But it's true, and it's up to you whether you want to believe me or not. In this world, we have two groups of people: the pedophiles who prey on children and everyone else. These pedophiles can choose any child from here and send someone to bring them, and you can't say no. If they choose your child from above, you can't say no, you can't protect them. If you refuse to give them your son or daughter, they'll destroy you. With the full support of authorities all over the world, not just the country you live in. Again, this is in documents, and this didn't happen just once or twice. There are thousands of children who were just Epstein's victims. There are 1,200 in these documents. 1,200. Girls and boys subjected to violence and sexual violence. Have you ever seen those videos that show a fight where drunk people are fighting in the street, people fighting and grown men using violence? They overpower someone? So hold on. Imagine this happening to a child, carried out by several grown men, and the purpose is sexual assault or a satanic ritual, or both. Imagine the terror in the girl. Has anyone ever yelled at you on the street? Did it scare you? Imagine if you were a child. Have you ever yelled at a child and seen how they get scared, how they cry? Now imagine if men are subduing them, chaining them for days, causing burns, tears, internal bleeding in their private parts. And this goes on for days and days until the child loses their life and then is buried or eaten. This is in the archives, it's in the documents. We have this photograph of one of Epstein's houses that has a hatch directly to the sea where there are sharks. That's where they threw the bodies, and that was if you were lucky. In some cases, one of these teenage girls gets pregnant, they force her to have the baby, they consume the baby, and then they get rid of both bodies. Just think about this, 1,200 documented cases from Epstein alone. They also have their contacts who asked him for children, people who are powerful all over the world, people in very high positions in companies, in governments, in non-profit institutions, charities and religions, in everything. I'm not making this video to speak badly about any particular country, religion, or political party or ideology like left or right. These are all these pedophiles. They have a menu of every child on the planet and they can choose whoever they want. We saw this girl who was kidnapped in Portugal when her parents reported it. Someone gave the FBI a tip and said, I saw Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein with this girl. And they just filed it away because they're in collusion. The parents thought, we're going to get help from the authorities and put their hope in them. We're going to find our daughter. But it was a lost battle from the start because their daughter was pre-selected. From this menu, as I said, from a database of all the children in the world. And once she was chosen, when the top-level pedophile said, I want that girl, there's no turning back and there's nothing the parents can do. I'll give you just one example in the United States. The company that takes pictures of all the children in schools across the country, and this is everyone. It's in the documents that they're directly involved with Epstein.
Join me to hear this story, and please don't call me a conspiracy theorist or say I'm making it up. Because 3 years ago, those we called crazy conspiracy theorists turned out to be completely right. Let's start with this person. His name is Mark Jeffrey Rowan, an American billionaire businessman, owner of Apollo Global. Pay attention to this name. Apollo Global Management bought this company. Shorter Fly, pay attention to this name, Shorter Fly, Shorter Fly. They are the owners of this other company called LifeTouch, which is the one that will take pictures of all the boys and girls to public schools, including the children of immigrants, the children of Americans. Every public record of children going to schools is taken by this company. LifeTouch, which was bought by Shorter Fly, which was bought by Apollo Global Management, whose owner is this man, Mark Jeffrey Rowan, who is on Epstein's list. And he was exchanging messages with Epstein, and he was sending private photos of children, you know what kind, with Jeffrey Epstein. Are you going to call me a conspiracy theorist? Or now, are you going to accept reality? Let me ask you, are you going to leave an insult in the comments? Or are you going to accept that every child is at risk? Every child on planet Earth right now is at risk, and we have failed to protect them.
And this has been happening for years, for decades now. The authorities had enough evidence to imprison Jeffrey Epstein and his accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell. With enough evidence to have a very strong case in court for all the human and child trafficking they were doing, but they didn't do it. It's not just the fact that they did nothing, and the number is in the thousands. To this, add that many high-profile people around the world are involved. We have the royal family of England, the kings and queens of England, the Duchess and the Duke of New York. The CEOs of multi-million-dollar companies in Dubai, including Trump, Bill Gates, Bill Clinton.
These are the highest profile people, but there are thousands of rich and powerful people in Epstein's files who went to his house. And here Epstein set a trap for all of them. He was a very deceitful person, someone you couldn't trust. First, he would invite you to the party to his house and he would bring young women, girls between 18 and 21, no one underage, just attractive and young. And he would test you like he was sizing you up to see how far you'd go. And if you gave in, each time he would bring you younger girls. And if you didn't give in, at his house, he had a network of cameras in all his properties. He had thousands of cameras where he recorded his guests without their knowledge. Rich and powerful people. So he could use those videos as blackmail to use them. Jeffrey Epstein was a psychopath who betrayed his friends for his own protection. Friends in quotation marks. I mean, imagine you're a rich and powerful person, a singer, an actor, an athlete, someone prominent, and at a governor's party. You meet Jeffrey Epstein, he seems like a really nice person to you, typical of psychopaths. And he says, hey, why don't you come over to my house one day? Look, I have a private mansion on an island, or I have a house on the beach at Mar-a-Lago. Why don't you come and hang out for a while? And you say yes, you arrive. You find yourself there with young girls, but there are cameras everywhere. Let's say you kiss one of them and then you leave, and the next day you call him and say, you know what? I don't want to go to your house anymore. I don't feel comfortable there. Now he blackmails you because he has videos of what you did. And this is described in Epstein's files with evidence. But let's say you do give in and say, hey, I had a great time at your house. Hey, invite me again when there's something good. And this time, the next time you go, now they're younger, between 16 and 18. And again, he's going to record everything you do with his network of thousands of cameras. And that's how it goes, just like that.
I'm just mentioning a few because this video isn't about blaming one specific person. I just want you to understand the magnitude of this problem. The world we live in is ruled by predators who literally eat children. And we didn't know, and those of us who did know are ignoring it. And the files are there, but very few are reading them, and we're not taking them as seriously as we should. This is the most serious problem humanity is facing right now. We also have overwhelming evidence of all these people involved, and there isn't any open investigation right now. At least in the host country, which is the United States, where many of these predators are. Because there isn't an investigation, because justice isn't being proactively pursued afterwards, but in these files I see that everything is connected worldwide. Have you ever heard about the missing girls in Ciudad Juarez? Mexico is connected to all the human trafficking in Europe, in Asia, in Australia. It's all connected. The missing children in the United States, the people who mysteriously disappear in airports, the parents whose children mysteriously go missing. Is this it? These people have accomplices. Schools, clinics, pediatric hospitals everywhere. Any member of your community could be involved and could be one of those who hand over babies to these people. Let me give you this example, this lady.
She is Eva. Say hello to Eva. She is the founder of the Breast Cancer Research Center called Mount Sinai. These are the social media accounts of the Sinai Center Hospital, and this is an email she sent to Jeffrey Epstein. Hi, come visit me this week. Selena has 5 friends who are staying over. Selena is her daughter who, at the time of sending this email, years old again. This person, a breast cancer researcher, founder of a hospital, a health center dedicated to helping women with breast cancer problems, sent this email to Jeffrey Epstein. Come visit me this week. Selena, my 15-year-old daughter, has 5 little friends who are sleeping over here, and she is mentioned thousands of times in Epstein's files. Go look for her. Check the information I'm telling you yourself. Test my credibility. Write down Eva Dubin, and she still works at this hospital, Eva Anderson at Mount Sinai. Remember I told you that these pedophiles didn't go out to hunt children on their own, but needed help from people in our communities. And I said, doctors, pediatricians, teachers, daycare workers, there's the evidence, they said. How exaggerated, how conspiratorial, here's the evidence. Eva Dubin to her own daughter. These are the most evil people in the world, and they walk among us. It means that if last week you talked to 100 people, one out of those 100 is providing children to a pedophile, identify who it is, they offer a reward for reporting your undocumented neighbor. So why isn't there a reward for reporting the pedophile who steals children and sells them to millionaires? Instead of identifying who's here illegally, who's secretly speaking Spanish, who speaks English with a Hispanic accent, we should focus on identifying who these people are in our community at our economic level, who are giving children to pedophiles, including their own children. I don't have enough influence to stop this. No one does. We all have to do it together.
To put an end to it, to stop adding more. When the United States Department of Justice released the files, they protected the identities of almost all the perpetrators, of everyone. Why would they protect them? But they also exposed the identities of the victims who had the courage, the bravery to share their experience. We have many people who don't know each other, they've never met, and they write the same thing. Parties at Jeffrey Epstein's house or one of his properties, and they describe the same process. How are they deceived? To go there, they're told you have to bring more girls to come, recruit more people. Some were kidnapped and taken there. There's that same physical and sexual violence when they're girls. It describes the same kind of rituals, and on many occasions they mention Trump. He was there. And he was very good friends with Epstein. By not protecting the identity of these victims, this caused Trump's followers to go against them. This led many of them to take their own lives after the relentless harassment by Trump's followers. And this is something I know, I've seen it, it's happened to me. When I put the Mexican flag on Trump Tower, Trump's followers sent me pictures of bullets and firearms. And they would say, "I'm coming for you with this." They sent me a bullet and said, "This is for your baby." At that time, my son was a newborn, and they would say, "Look, this bullet is for your baby." And I received these messages from accounts of people with their face and their name who follow Trump. I can't imagine the harassment. So much worse than these girls who were at Epstein's properties, who were victims of these abductions. Rituals and assaults are carried out by Trump fanatics, to the point that many of them have taken their own lives. Think about this. Do they make you aware? The files? They protect the pedophiles and expose the victims so that they are harassed, causing fear so that the other victims simply don't give their testimony. They not only revealed their names and identities, but also their credentials showing where they work and live. They are traumatizing them again. As if what they already went through wasn't traumatic enough, they're traumatizing them again.
And the victims have been dealing with this for years, telling us this is the worst part of it all. For years, we've ignored these victims. They've had the courage to share their experiences of how they were victimized, and we've ignored them. Seriously, as humanity, we owe an apology to these people, to all these victims who tried to tell us. I was kidnapped and abused by a monster, by a group of monsters, and many of them. And we ignored them. And this is not just Trump, I want to emphasize. Joe Biden knew about this. He ignored it. George Bush knew about this. He ignored it. Bill Clinton knew about this. He ignored it. Obama knew about this. He ignored it. This is not a Democrat versus Republican problem. This is the diabolical against us.
But what has impacted me the most, to the point that I haven't been able to sleep, I haven't been able to eat well, I haven't been at peace, it's the description of the torture videos. In these files, it describes how they tortured these girls and boys. The news outlets are portraying Epstein and his allies as pedophiles who like them. Young women, in fact, they use the wrong vocabulary. They say young women, but they weren't young women, they were boys and girls. Yes, there were girls who were 18, 19, 20. He would say they were pretty, but his main prey were boys and girls under 10 years old. And this is what hasn't let me sleep. It's taken away my peace. Because my children and yours could be on that menu and there's nothing we can do. In my short videos, I've shared a bit of the details of these tortures they describe. I haven't told you what's too graphic for social media. I already have a penalty on my Diego Sol Reina Espanol account just for showing you a photo, for showing you a picture. So I can't do this work by showing you photographs, and I can't describe them to you either. I can only tell you that the most horrible thing you can imagine, the worst thing you've seen in a horror movie, the one that scared you the most, that is documented over and over again thousands of times with thousands of children, and they could be our children now. It's not what I wanted, but yes, 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 yes. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, the one I'm recording this computer on. They are parts of capitalism that work thanks to the tycoons at the very top, and many of those tycoons are involved here. But now, what do you prefer? The ability to go to a store, to buy something at Starbucks and be able to buy something? Or for your child to be on a list in a menu so that whenever they feel like it, they can order them? I support capitalism. I like the world of consumerism. I like it and the benefits we have in today's world with international trade. But that's a very high price to pay. The fact that my children are on that menu waiting for someone to order them. And you're just crossing your fingers, hoping they reach adulthood before someone sees them or notices them or wants them. So if my son reaches a certain age, he won't be attractive to these monsters anymore. So I just hope for that and continue my life as if nothing happened. And let it happen to someone else's children. Let them take another girl. Let it be another father lying in his bed at night, unable to sleep, thinking, where is my daughter? Praying, saying, daughter, someday I will find you. Let him say, I hope my daughter was given a quick death and wasn't tortured for days. I hope my daughter isn't one of those who was forced to give birth and then had her baby eaten in front of her. We can't go on like this. We're like the little ants from that old movie. And there are the grasshoppers up above who come to take one of your children every 2 or 3 days, and you just hope it's someone else's child. That's no way to live. We're living on our knees, said Pancho Villa. I'd rather die standing than live on my knees, because we've been living on our knees, having our children at the mercy of this elite group of pedophiles. And we already know that Lingua, Tron administration, or any other authority won't do anything. So far, there isn't an open investigation in the United States. Respond. They started with, in Maxwell, they said. It wasn't believed that they said. And they tell us that Maxwell is going to be in jail for a while, which I also don't think is true. To begin with, I'll show you these photographs. The mats they gave us is not the Jelena Maxwell they arrested. It's not her, it's someone else. And Jeffrey Epstein simply did not die in prison. Someone who has access to airports all over the world, to presidents all over the world, to diplomatic passports from any country. They simply can't die in prison. It's illogical. They're feeding us a lie. Look at this other document that shows us how they covered up his exit from the jail in New York. On top of all this, add the fact that the millions of files, photos, and videos we have aren't even 5% of everything that's there. The people we know are involved are the minority. We've discovered the tip of the iceberg. We haven't even scratched the surface of it. There are many more people who are involved in this and people helping them. Now, if you have children, nieces, or nephews, or plan to have them, this shouldn't let you sleep. And after hearing what I'm telling you, you can't continue your life the way you did before. We simply can't. If you remember that, for example, in Mexico, we lived in fear, like I don't want to get mugged, I don't want someone to pull a gun on me and take my wallet, and we lived with that fear. Or we lived with the fear of running into a caravan of organized crime coming into my business to extort me. I'm afraid of getting run over, having a crash, and something happening to me. The brain, which is not a disease that reincarnate in this official. In the stride of Alternatively, the decreasing ones, we didn't expect articles in one of the highest sequence of minor crime. It's that the arte lourd, that the maximization of all the predators and sick and perverted people in the world. And it gives them power, money, and impunity. Everything happens in stages. It's like walking down the street and someone threatens you with a knife for your wallet. That's a level of insecurity, but if all those criminals get organized, then they're a cartel, and that's the second step in impunity, in insecurity. And what if this cartel now buys off the government with corruption so they can operate freely? There you have the next level. Now imagine that instead of wanting to steal your wallet, instead of wanting to traffic drugs, they want to kidnap, eat, consume, visit children. Yours and mine, and they're there all around us, and you don't know who's involved. I started making content on social media because I wanted to eliminate fraud, job fraud. To Canada, I said it's not possible that these scammers operate with impunity and profit from people's hope. The people who want to come to Canada, who dream of a better life, are being targeted and scammed by these thieves. And I started making videos warning, and I never finished. No, I never reached my goal, but I did reduce it. I made them work much harder to pull off their scams, to earn much less, and now I want to do the same, but what should I do? I can't put an end to Epstein. I can't warn the public, because no matter how much I warn you, no matter how much you protect your children, if a nurse, a teacher, a coach, a pediatrician, if someone is going to hand them over, there's nothing you can do. It's just that this isn't a battle I can join. It's that we all have to keep going. We have to change this system. We have to demand that they dismantle this network of pedophiles, which means dismantling the world order as we know it. Look, it's all very simple. The top pedophiles, the millionaires, want to abuse and torture any child they want. The authorities protect them, and we're at the very bottom. Only now, after reading these Epstein documents, am I realizing this. We're becoming aware of this, and many content creators are informing the world. Now what? What's next? What do we do after this? We've already seen that it does exist. We've seen that the conspiracy theories are true. We've seen that the most powerful people are involved. Now what? What can we do? What is our role? What can you and I do to stop this? And here's the sad part. For the first time since I've been making videos, I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. I don't have any advice. I can't even give myself that encouragement, that peace of mind. I call my children every day and I wake up from nightmares that they're being taken away. When I see a child smile, I can't help but think, I hope this child is never taken away. I hope no child is ever taken away. When I meet someone who's a billionaire and powerful, someone I see on the news, I wonder, is he involved? My mindset has changed. I can't go back to being the same, but I don't have an answer for you. What can we do? Alone? It's an anxiety, a fear, a worry I have that this is something we can't control. And our world, our society were designed to allow this, because this isn't something new. This has always been the case. These evil people who eat babies have always existed and have always had power. And the people who have power are the ones who shape the world, and they shaped our society so that we can never fight against them. We can keep the children safe on the surface, but they will always have the ability to take whoever they want. And even if it's 1 or 2 a week, it doesn't affect the general population. And that's what keeps us going. Without trying to eliminate them, we definitely have to get rid of them, but I don't know how, I don't know if it's possible. What I do know is that by making videos, by sharing this video with empathy, with kindness towards others, we won't be able to, being aware that we won't be able to. I don't know how the most terrifying thing I've read in my life, it's what worries me the most right now. It's the biggest problem we have. It's no use if we end organized crime, poverty, water shortages, food shortages, inflation, or if we raise salaries. It's no use if at any moment a monster comes and eats your child. We're like in that movie How to Train Your Dragon, where these people have sheep, they have milk, they have houses, they have everything, but at any moment a dragon comes and steals their sheep. Those sheep are our children. On top of all this, add that the most powerful country in the world, the United States, is covering everything up and telling us there's nothing more to see here. There's nothing else. With Epstein, Trump shows up in Epstein's records more times than Jesus appears in the Bible. And he's telling us himself, just leave her and her dumb followers alone because I can't find another name for them. And you know that I was never the kind of person who sits here to insult someone. I always used arguments. I never used insults, but there is no other word. We have these idiots who are reading documents, following evidence, and instead of demanding transparency, they go and attack the victims. That's the definition of an imbecile. Well, to sum up this video for you, after reading these files, the ones I've read, a lot of them, I'm already traumatized, I'm scared, I have anxiety, I'm terrified, I'm having a nervous breakdown, I haven't been able to rest, eat, or feel okay. Can this happen to any of your children? We all have to be alert. This is the most horrible thing that has happened. It's the most serious problem humanity is facing right now. And I can't think of anything to fix it. I don't know what we can do.